From Cornwall to Birmingham and Johnston and Bexhill, here's Ruben Spar on the radio.
Hello to Ervin Munir. How are you today?
I'm fine, Ruben. Nice to talk to you.
Same to you. Thank you for letting me chat to you today. So, Keaton, how long have you been a singer-songwriter for?
Well, I suppose since I was sort of 17 and 18, started writing breakup songs or songs about not being able to find love as a teenager. But probably more recently, I've really been going at it seriously since 2022.
So, what was it like going into the recording studio for the first time?
Well, I've got my own studio. I've had my own studio here for quite a long while, so I was fairly used to it. What was different, I suppose, was working with professional producers. That was different, and luckily I found a really good one in Aaron Z. Jones. He's a very good producer, and we get on really well. He put me at ease. And it's great having someone to operate the technicalities of the recording software and me not having to do it myself. And then he does all that. He guides me in terms of what he wants me to do next, and we get on with it. It's good.
So, we'll take you back, way back. So, can you tell me more about The Return?
The Return was a song. I wanted to write a song about Sheringham, where I live. And one of the things that I was quite taken with was when you go down to the sea in Sheringham, especially on a rough day, the way that the waves crash against the shore and the sound that it makes was quite dramatic. And also my wife was alive at the time, and she was going blind, and so she got a lot of her input from sound, and she loved the sound of the sea. So having played in a few folk clubs around the area, I decided I'll try and write a folk song linked to the sea, and that's where it came from, The Return. It's a bit of a ghost story.
So, can you tell me more about Why Did I Keep Moving On?
Yeah, that's an interesting song. I suppose it's probably about my alter ego. I'm not that person, but unfortunately, some people still think I am. I'm not the sort of person who will go in and wreck someone's life and get them to fall in love with me, then run off to another town. But that's what that song's about. It's more of it's like an American bad boy type character. Yeah, it was nice, and it was. It also had some nice harmonies in it, and I quite like whistling in songs. So a few of my songs have got whistling in. So I managed to get some harmony whistling in that one. But that was a song I released in October 2022, and I played that in Camden, in the Camden Club in London.
So, could you remember more about She Never Made Old Bones?
Yeah. So one of my friends said to me about her dog. She just said, "She'll never make old bones," and I had never heard the phrase before, and it was something her mother used to say to her, and it clicked with me. I liked that phrase, and also there's a verse in that song which is about my wife, because she died young as well, relatively. And so I wrote the song about different people that die too young, and then the impact that has on other people. You know, a lot of people say she's had a good innings. That's the opposite. You know, she's had a good innings. She lived a long life, and that's okay. But dying young is somewhat more tragic. So that song, the characters in that song are all made up apart from my true love, Dorothy, who died. So
can you tell me more about the first single that released this year called Carolyn?
Carolyn, well, I am experienced of having a relationship with someone who's depressed. And although this is a song about depression, it's about depression from the depressed person's partner's viewpoint, so my viewpoint. And originally it was going to be called The Name of the Person, which I won't divulge just here in this interview, but she asked that I didn't use that name, so I changed it to Carolyn, which actually was a better name, much easier to sing and much better to rhyme with. So essentially it's an upbeat song, surprisingly, and it's about how, as the partner of a depressed person, you lose the person for a while when they're depressed, and when they come back, they come back. That the person comes back to you, and it's that type of thing. It talks about the person going into depression and also then coming back out again, and so that's what that one's about.
So, get to more about Fall Apart.
Well, Fall Apart is a bit of a political protest song. Do you remember that phrase? I don't know if anyone ever said it to you. Doesn't matter who you vote for, the government still get in. Countries have problems. There's a change in government, and you think that's going to solve the problem, and they just make it worse, or they put in place the same. It's happening in this country now, which I despair about. There's so much talk about banning immigrants coming into the country and stopping immigrants coming into the country, and the Labour, the people not in power, they seem to have similar views. It seems that we've gone a bit right wing in the world. So my worry is that you can take down the walls, the problems that cause the issues that cause problems for the people in the country, and then a change in government comes along, and then they can put them back up again. And that's just quite sad. Also, there's a lot of talk about not allowing people to demonstrate and have freedom of speech, and so I suppose it links to that as well.
So, talk about more about Pick Up the Phone.
Some of my songs are written about very small things, and this one's one of those. It's a song about first of all, the chord progression at the beginning I picked up from a Netflix film I was watching. Not the actual chord progression, but the power of it, the having it as an exposed strum with nothing else going on behind it. I just heard on a science fiction thing I think I was watching on Netflix. But the other thing is, it's just about an argument. It's about facing the argument and not just brushing it under the carpet. So you have an argument with someone, then you really should confront that argument, confront the issue, figure out what it is and solve it, not just let it lie and fester. So it's about that, really. Pick up the phone and make a call. Sometimes that's all you can do to make it right.
So, could you tell me about the single they released recently called Fall from Grace?
Yeah, that was triggered by listening to a Taylor Swift song called "State of Grace." I just liked the song, and my song's completely different to that. But I like the idea of using writing a song with the word grace in it, and but I didn't want to be, I don't know, normal. I like the concept of a fall from grace. I don't know if a lot of writers write songs based on idioms, and fall from grace is a commonly used phrase. Probably the one that's come to the into public consciousness more over the last 10, 20 years, when people in entertainment or people in government have suddenly had a fall from grace because they've done something so bad. So the idea of a fall from grace was what the song was based around, a fall from grace of a partner who cheated on you. I also wanted to write a song that wasn't sex based, by which I mean a lot of my songs in the past have been written from a male perspective. This song could be sung by Fall from Grace could be sung by a female or a male. It wouldn't matter, because it doesn't mention who which of the people. And anyway, in this world where there's a lot of gender fluidity, it doesn't make sense sometimes to write a song that mentions that.
So could you tell me about your debut album called Broken Compass?
The album has been being worked on since October 2022. The title track, Broken Compass, I don't really know where that came from. So I know there was a challenge. Someone threw out a challenge to write a song based on, it was called Sail Away, based on the phrase sail away. So something about sailing. And I didn't want to write a song about a boat. So I wrote a song about, I don't know, life changes and psychological change as opposed to really being on a boat. And that's where that came from. Originally it was much, and I still perform it in quite a folky way, just on an acoustic guitar and me. But in the studio, transformations sometimes happen, and it's become a bit more of a, I don't know, folk rock sort of song, folk pop sort of song. And it's got more of a driving beat from the drums and from the bass, which of course I can't do on acoustic guitar. So yeah, I love it. I think it's a great track. And the tracks that I've released since October 2022 are on there, plus 4 tracks that I haven't yet released. So that I've only just released on the album, so they're new.
So can you tell me more about how's independent artist for you?
How's being an independent artist? Well, given that the thing I enjoy the most is the writing and the production of the songs, and I get to do that. It's expensive. Certainly the production is expensive. The writing obviously is just done in my own time. But I'm exploring what it is to be an independent artist. I don't think I really knew what it was like to be an independent artist when I started this in October 2022. I knew how to release songs digitally, and how to produce a CD, partly how to produce a CD, but I didn't understand the admin and all the boring stuff that you have to do around it. And I also didn't realize how difficult it is to make money. Really difficult. And I don't know what the word is. I want to make a go of it. I want to sort of see whether you could make a go of it, but I'm not sure that you can. I think the streaming world has really caused musicians problems. And unless you get a record deal with someone now and they're willing to front up your costs for things, it's very difficult. In fact, I'm thinking for my second album to start a crowdfunder project, because I can't remember off the top of my head. I would imagine it must cost, in terms of production costs for an album, I imagine it costs around £10,000. And on top of that, you pay for PR, so maybe more, 15. So if you're paying for PR, maybe it's £15,000. And PR can range from being £200 to £5,000 if you're independent per track. So that's quite a lot. And so I don't know. I think I'm willing to explore it further. And at the end of the day, I can reduce my costs if I decide to do all the production myself, and I could reduce my costs if I decided not to release a CD. I wouldn't have artwork. I wouldn't have CD costs. I would just release digitally, and but it's not as exciting. And of course, the other thing, there's a little bit of a gamble that goes on in a songwriter's life. They don't talk about it too much, but they're always hoping they're going to write a hit. They're always hoping that someone's going to say, "That's a nice song. I could use that in my film," and get some sync royalties. So yeah, I'm enjoying it, definitely. I'm going to keep going. I'm not. while I'm still enjoying it, I'm going to keep going. That's the important thing. And I'm in a very creative phase of my life. I seem to have lots of good ideas for songs coming out, and we go up into the studio, and what we produce. I was there last week with the producer. We did 3 songs, so I've currently got 5 already ready for release on the new album.
So can you tell me more about your busking that you do and the gigs that you got?
Yeah, I love busking. Minimal setup. Just have to drive, especially here, because I do a lot of my busking in Sheringham. And it's a seaside town, so I love just going down to the sea and busking on the seafront. And even if I make no money, which doesn't happen, but if I made no money, I'd still be happy. So I'd be playing the songs and I'd be looking out at the sea, and it's just beautiful. I did do a busk in Cromer a few months ago, about 8 months ago, and one of the songs on the album is called The Busker. It came from this busking experience where I just started singing when there was a fight that broke out in front of me, and some guy was chasing another guy with a bottle, and then the police came, and various things happened, and I wrote a song about that. I still enjoyed it, and I made quite a lot of money that day. Other gigs, I've not really been pushing the gig side thing very much. I mean, I do play in open mics around here quite a lot, probably 2 or 3 or 4 a month, and I have played in a theatre called I can't remember the name of the theatre. I played in a theatre in Norwich anyway. I played in one of the theatres in Norwich. I like it. In some ways, it's nicer playing away from home. You know, I did a gig here when I released Why Did I Keep Moving On? It was sold out, but there were a lot of friends in that gig, and it's more pressure playing in front of people that know you. It really is a lot more pressure. When I played in the theatre in Norwich, there was only 2 people in the 200 people that were there that I knew, and I found it much more relaxing. So I will be doing some gigs next year, and I will be trying to promote the album. One of my dilemmas at the moment is I'm deciding whether I want to do it by myself or whether I want to have some other musicians with me, and that adds a level of complexity to the whole process, because we have to learn how to do the songs, whereas I can turn up now and play them by myself. So,
and I guess it's all about money as well, to pay them as well, I guess. Yeah,
I mean, you can't complain about not being paid for stuff if you don't pay the people you're employing to do your album. So yes, it's a very difficult one. I hate that when they say you're paying for exposure. It really annoys me. And it's not very pleasant when you're competing for a gig and someone says, I'll do it for free. I mean, you know, they're going to get exposure maybe, but that also knocks a load of people that wanted to get paid out of the equation. I also play for a band around here, and we're gonna try and play at the First Light Festival in Lowestoft next year coming up, and we've got a gig in February linked with that. We're called Cutting the Mustard, and we do covers, but we're also doing our own songs. And some of the songs on the album, Pick Up the Phone, is one of the songs that will be performed by the band. In fact, Tina Blaber is the other singer on that song, and she leads the band. So I recorded her for my album.
And finally, can you tell my listeners where can I find you on your social media?
Social media?
Yeah.
I didn't quite get the question. Can you repeat that?
Can you tell my listeners where can I find you on social media?
All right, okay. Okay, well, the easiest way to find me, to be honest, is to go to my website, and all my social media links are at the bottom. So if you went to www.ervinmusician.com, that's ERVIN musician.com, then at the bottom all my links are there. But I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on all the ones you're meant to be on. Bandcamp. You can buy my album on Bandcamp too, but you can also buy it from the website. Threads, Twitter, X, sorry, and I'm trying to think of the other ones, but I'm on all of them. There's also quite a few articles about my songs available on the internet. So if you search for Ervin Munir, that's ERVIN MUNIR, musician, or just those two words, then you'll see people have written. There's a lot of press on there about the tracks I've released and the album that I've released. So that's quite pleasant, and you can find my website that way too if you want to.
Thank you for letting me chat to you today.
Thank you very much for having me, Ruben.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
And you. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Bye.